Good morning. Hello, crafty friends. How is everybody doing today? Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Leave a comment as you are hopping on today. I would love to say hello to you. I'm going to pop my comments up here on the screen so I can see who's joining us. And happy Tuesday to all of you. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far. We are winding down in our school year. Our kids have after today, only 3 more days left. So those of you who have kids also in school know that there's not a lot getting done at our house this week, just with all of the excitement and parties. We have one 5th grader, so she's ending her elementary school experience, and so there's lots of celebrations and all of that kind of stuff. So I am ready for summer. Hopefully you guys are excited too. I wish the weather would cooperate this week for making us feel like summer is coming, but it's Iowa, anywhere in the Midwest, and you get the extreme ups and downs of weather. And so last week it was beautiful, 80s all week, and this week we woke up to, I think, maybe 48 this morning, so kind of chilly. I dressed my kids in pants and sweatshirts, and yeah, it's hoodie weather again. So let's say hello to a few people. Hello, Debbie. Good morning, Shelly. Chilly and rainy in northern Iowa as well. Hi, Nancy out in Omaha. Yes, you're enjoying your Tuesday mornings at TE. That's awesome. Hi, Ginny. Hello, Nancy. Whitney's here this morning. Whitney, you want to say hi?
Hi, friends.
Deb is here. Lucy in Minnesota. Super soggy up there. It rained buckets here last night. It was crazy. I was supposed to play outdoor volleyball in sand volleyball, beach volleyball, in about an hour before we were supposed to play. The skies opened up and just dropped buckets of rain. So it was really kind of fun to watch, but obviously volleyball got canceled and there were really no outdoor activities happening last night. So we got a few more people hopping on today, so continue to say hello. Even if you're watching on replay, we love to hear from you as well, so feel free to comment along, even if you're watching after this is live. I have a quick announcement for you guys regarding the lives. So we're going to be making a transition in the next several weeks. We're not going to do it yet because we wanted to give you guys kind of an announcement or just some time to know that it's coming. But we are going to be transitioning our lives over to YouTube, just strictly on YouTube, because we get a little better streaming experience there. As you know, Facebook recently said that they would be deleting lives after 30 days. So for those reasons, we are going to be moving over to YouTube. So we will still post the links to the YouTube live in our Facebook group. So if you're used to accessing the live through Facebook, you will just need to go to our page and click on the link that brings you to YouTube. Otherwise, here's your announcement to test out YouTube. Get an account if you don't already have one. Subscribe to the Tailored Expressions YouTube channel, and you will be alerted every time we are live. And anytime you go to our channel on YouTube, if we happen to be live, you can just click on that live button that pops up at the top that shows you that we are currently live, and then you can access the videos that way. So hopefully, I know lots of you already join us on YouTube, and if you have any questions or any troubles as you're trying to get on YouTube, feel free to reach out. We don't want you to miss our lives at all, but I think it's going to provide everybody with a little better streaming experience. We can all comment together instead of on separate platforms, and going forward, we are going to be making that transition. So, woo-hoo! Yes, exciting. All right, so a couple other things. We have some exciting things happening at TE today. Not a release per se, but a sale for all of you. And as you know, Memorial Day is right around the corner. Hopefully you guys are all getting your parties planned. What are you doing for your day off? Enjoying, hopefully, some sun if it comes out again before then. But before then, you can also enjoy the Tailored Expressions Memorial Day sale, which launched this morning. So I'm going to pop a graphic up here on the screen so that you can check that out. We are offering for our Memorial Day sale 20% off all of our sentiment stamps and dies that coordinate with those stamps. So sentiment stamps and coordinating dies are all 20% off starting today. Of course, you get the best selection if you shop early. You don't need any kind of coupon code. You just head to our website, click on that big banner when you get to the homepage, and it will take you to the category that shows you all of the sentiment stamps and coordinating dies. So kind of one other exciting thing when you get there, pay attention. We've got some banners up on those products to note what are some of our design team favorites. We asked each of our design team members to choose their favorite sentiment set and their most used in their collection. And so we have marked those with a pink banner that says Design Team Favorite. So if you're looking over that category and you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of sentiment stamps, how do I choose? Well, check out that banner because our design team, they know our products, they use them all the time, and their favorites are worth paying attention to. So hopefully that will help you in your shopping as well. And then we also have some new products that hit the website today. They may not be new to all of you because they were previously offered during our Combo Club last year. So all of our sentiment sets that came out during Combo Club last year are now part of the collection. So let me come down here and show you some of the things that you will find in that category that are new that you may not have seen before. We'll just walk through a few samples and maybe jog your memory. If you were part of the Combo Club previously, you might remember some of these. So we have our Shine Bright sentiments, and this one comes with or doesn't come with, but it also has a coordinating foilet that you can get as well. So that came out with our Rainbow in Bloom, which was, I believe, either June or July of last year. Then we had our whole theme of house-themed products. So this sentiment set, I think, Whitney, you might have to help me with names, but yes. Was it called House It Going?
Yes.
Was that the name of the sentiment set? Okay, well, that's the sentiment on this card here. Oh, good. You popped it up there on the screen for me so I can read it. Maybe. My lights are in the way, so I'm just going to have you keep helping me. This one has Time to Celebrate with that garland party that was part of our Combo Club last year as well. So this sentiment set is also available, great for birthday cards. And then we had our autumn set. I think it's called All for Autumn.
Yes.
Beautiful autumn themed sentiments. They go well with a lot of our products. Even if you don't have the Combo Club, these sentiment sets would be worth adding to your collection. And then the one that I will be using today is not from Combo Club, but it is new, entering our collection. It is called All Together Happy Occasions. And if you were part of our virtual Stamp Joy, not this spring, but 2024, spring of 2024 virtual, then you have already received this. It was part of your event materials, and we're going to be using it today. I'm really excited that it's joining our collection because it really helps with mass production, and that's what we're going to be talking about when we get crafty together. You can see the stamp is all together on one stamp panel, so you stamp all of those sentiments at once, and then you have this coordinating die that has the alignment squares that line up with the sentiment. You can see it just pops right over the top there and die cuts all of those sentiments at the same time. So it's going to give you lots of happy occasions, happy birthday, happy everything, happy hello, happy for you, you make me happy. Lots of good ones there. So maybe check your collection for this. If you have been around Tailored Expressions for a while, this could be already part of your collection, but we're going to be using this today and also talking about some mass production tips. The other great thing about this is it does come in a foilet as well. So if you're into foiling, you can grab the coordinating foilet that has all of the same sentiments pre-printed in toner. So you can foil them in whatever color you choose and then die cut them with the same die that works with the stamp. All right, should I show you what we're gonna make today? Let's do it. I think I made it through most of my announcements. I have, I guess, one other little announcement today is If you are, since we just talked about Combo Club last year, we are in our Combo Club season this year. We're exploring 3D embossing folder and layering stencil combos. And we have our re-enrollment period currently. So if you didn't get in on our first 3 months of the Combo Club, you can sign up now, and then you will receive the second 3 months, which is July, August, and September. So make sure you do that. That is ending. Our re-enrollment period is ending 5/22, which is this Thursday at 9 a.m. So if you previously signed up for 3 months, you will be expiring and you need to re-sign up if you want to receive those second 3 months. Or if you didn't get signed up at all, you have until 9 a.m. on Thursday to sign up for our second half. All right.
I'll be there.
Whitney will be there. It's so fun. We get
Here
to
for the party.
we get together every month and share inspiration. We do a special live just for our Combo Club products, and so it's lots of fun. But here is what we are going to be making today. So mass production isn't something that I really love to do. I wouldn't say that I lean that way a lot, but I do have a lot of tips and tricks. So if you want to, let's say, build up your stash of cards for birthdays or for any occasion, really, I do love to have cards on hand. And this Happy Occasions set is perfect because if I need birthday, I could make all of these birthday. I'm missing one here because I already used it to celebrate a baby shower. I used So Happy for You, and yeah, so I'm missing one of my cards here, but you can really choose lots of happy occasions, and the imagery is generic enough that it can work for many occasions. So we're going to talk about some tips and tricks as we create these today. And my first tip is if you need to or want to mass produce cards, start with a project in mind. I think a lot of times when you want to mass produce, it's helpful to use something someone has already done. So for example, take this card and find ways to make it your own, but start with the project in mind. Like, this is the end that I want to get to, and I'm going to figure out how to get there and kind of do some planning steps before I get started. Now, if you know you want to mass produce and you're doing it from scratch, you're not using someone else's inspiration, then my tip would be to select products that promote mass production. We have a lot of those at Tailored Expressions. We have our quads that give you the 4 panels. We have our all-together stamps that I just talked about. So pick out one of those all-togethers that's going to give you a lot of sentiments without a ton of work. The other thing we have are our cutting plates that create lots of different die cut pieces. For example, our scattered blooms is one that I will often use. You can blend and die cut all of those flowers and then make several cards from them. So lots of ways or lots of products you can choose that promote mass production. My next tip for kind of starting or continuing with the process is to choose a color combination. So if you look at a card, I have made a color card for this project that we're going to be creating today. So take a quick screenshot of this if you want to be able to remember it later. Gumpdrop, Guava, Peaches and Cream, and Pineapple are the 4 colors in my rainbow. Of course, I've paired that with Sugar Cube as my neutral. And then over here on the right in the notes section, I put down what products really pair nicely with this color combination. I've got a gold embossing powder swatch over there and champagne foil swatch as well. So those are going to remind me if I want to recreate later with this color combination that I really love these this accent of gold with this color combination. So choose a color combo. If you're using someone else's inspiration, mix up the color combination. Choose your own color combo. It's a great time to get out your color cube or your inspiration cards and kind of make it your own. So that is the next step would be to choose your color combo and make substitutions. So typically when you're looking at someone else's inspiration, you might have parts and pieces of this design, but maybe not everything from the design. So before you get started in the process, think about, what am I going to substitute? Maybe I don't have the Fanfare cutting plate in the background, but I do have the pierced circles or, something similar. Maybe I have a background stamp that I can do tone on tone. So if you don't have the products exactly as the card is used to create. Think about your substitutions before you get started. All of this pre-planning for mass production just helps you avoid distraction. So I don't know about you, but we get easily distracted in our craft room.
What?
I know.
Too many pretty things.
Too many pretty things. And when I get distracted, I'm often like, I go in a million different directions. And when I need to get several cards done, that's not helpful, getting distracted by all the pretty things. And then it just ends up, the whole process ends up taking longer. And ultimately, I don't always love the projects that come out of it because they feel a little like my brain, a little scattered. So continuing on then, we've picked our project, we've picked our color combination. Make any substitutions. Think about scraps that you're going to be using. So gather all of your supplies, and this is a great time to use up scraps. Once you have your colors, just grab what you need. I have my little scraps of the 4 colors we're going to be using for the project today. I grabbed scraps in order to cut out the layer panels that are going to go behind each of my cards. So do some of those steps to gather your supplies, and again, that will avoid distraction, help you use up extras that you have. I'm going to be using up a leftover in my craft room. Actually, these gold matte enamel dots are retired from the Tailored Expressions website, but boy do I love them. I want to still use them, so I'm going to use them on my project today. And if you guys have them, feel free to use them, or you can substitute gold glitter drops, gold drip drops, lots of different things that could go in there. Colored enamel dots. Of course, we have our collection of colored enamel dots that you could substitute for flower centers as well. Then after we've gathered all of our supplies, this is the part where we're going to get to actually crafting together. We are going to do all of the similar steps at the same time. So we're going to do all of our stamping, and then we're going to do all of our die cutting, all of our gluing. Kind of grouping those tasks together really helps move the project along faster, as opposed to, you know, making one whole card and making another whole card and making another. That takes more time than grouping your like steps together. So I know a lot of those things, for those of you that have been making cards for a while, are probably things you've thought of, but hopefully that helps some of you that may not have done the mass producing experience before. As we go through this, hopefully you'll gather some more tips and tricks as well. Okay, so we're gonna do all of our stamping first. So I'm gonna grab my Misty here. I picked out 4 different background stamps. If you picked that up here in the sample that I've been sharing with you, I have stamped the cardstock with a tone-on-tone background stamp, and then we're going to cut out those rainbow rings. This promotes mass production because we can kind of mix and match those rainbow arcs together to get 4 different cards by using 4 different colors of cardstock. So we've got Gumdrop, we have Guava, Pineapple, and Peaches and Cream. So the 4 backgrounds that I will be using, let's pull them in here. We have so many good basics lately that have entered our collection that I almost had a hard time narrowing it down. So we'll be using Polka Chic, and then I have Wonky Grid. I've got Checking In background. And then my last one is actually a set of 3 that could be used, but I'm going to use just the stars from the bold border background blocks. So those are the 4 that I'll be using. Times. Bold border background blocks. Yes. All right, so let's start with that bold border background block. We're going to take that off and stamp that one first. So what kind of projects are on everybody else's desk today? I would love to hear what you're working on. I know it's that time of year where, you know, we don't have a ton of holidays that we're working on. I need a tape runner.
Oh, yes.
I don't see a tape runner. Thank you. Yeah, so let me know what's on your desk and what you're working on, because we've got, I guess, 4th of July is coming up, and what What else is coming up this summer? Just general summer cards. We're getting ready for a super fun release, summer release around here. I know, I'm so excited. The products have been coming in for testing and we are loving it so far. All right, we've got pineapple on pineapple cardstock. Sandy says, patiently waiting on peaches and cream restock. I know. I've mentioned this several times that we do have exciting news that many of our colors that we haven't been able to get for quite a while will be re-entering our collection. And I haven't given a specific date on that because, well, they are in transit and the shipment doesn't have a specific date. It's dependent on a lot of different factors. And so as we get closer, I have said this summer it will happen, which summer goes from June through August in my mind. So sometime June through August, we will be having our colors kind of revamped. So you'll have a chance to get many of those back into your collections again. Okay, so that was pineapple with the stars. Let's move on to the checking in background. Oh, Mila, you're doing some mass producing yourself with the scattered blooms foilet panels.
We were just talking about that.
Yes, that set is a great one for mass producing, especially when you can add that pretty foil in there without a lot of extra work, just sending it through your machine. Okay, so this is the checking in background, and we are going to do this one in peaches and cream. So let's go ahead and place that down. Just make sure it's all the way under that background stamp, and we'll go ahead and ink this up with the peaches and cream ink. I'm just kind of inking the center of the stamp. I don't need to waste my ink on the outside edges.
We got some masculine cards in the making.
Wow.
Of course, grad cards.
Oh my goodness, Susan. Susan says she's working on graduation cards. There are about 1,000 grads this year. Was that an exaggeration, or are you truly making 1,000 grad cards? Because, wow, that is a lot.
Mass production at its best.
That is mass production at its best, yes. All right, there's peaches and cream. We've got lots of votes for rose water to come back. I think you guys are going to be happy about that one. I, for one, am very excited about rose water, and it is one that we were able to restock. So I know we have not given a full list yet. I've just kind of been trickling out a few details here and there. For those of you that join in on the lives and such, you're getting a little bit of a heads up of certain things we have planned. Beth is asking, and this is something the whole group could chime in on. Beth is asking, do you find that the Mink machine works better than a laminator? I'm not getting great results with my laminator. In short, the answer is yes. I have found that a Mink works much better than a laminator. It's more consistent in its heat application. In my experience, it gets hotter and gets hotter faster than the laminator does. And so I switched over. I did try a laminator first for the first probably, I don't know, several months of foiling, but I switched quickly to a Mink machine and have not looked back since then. So if anybody else has thoughts, I do hear from some who have great results with their laminator. I have tried a couple of brands myself. But I haven't really found that any of them work as well for me to get those great results. Oh, now we just want all of the dirt on the colors. We've got people asking about lots of colors. I'm gonna save more for later. So again, as we get a little closer, we can keep kind of letting the cat out of the bag, so to speak. Okay, this then was Polka Chic, which I stamped tone on tone onto the Guava cardstock with Guava ink. And then last, we are going to do the Wonky grid. Okay, Wonky Grid is on Gumdrop with Gumdrop ink. This has been one of my favorite colors. It is the most recent new color that we released. It was part of our advent calendar last year, and now it is part of our collection since I think February we put it out into the full collection. And it's one of those kind of unique, unexpected colors. I love how it looks a little bit boho, especially when you pair it with the peach and the yellow. So there's that tone on tone. All right.
Madge is determined to die cut 153 candles
Whoa.
for her 2 birthday cards for her friends.
Oh, your friends are turning 73 and 80, so add those together and you are die cutting 153 candles. I love that.
You got this.
Okay, so we've done that stamping. Before I put my Misty away, let's go ahead and do our sentiments. So we're doing all of our tasks at the same time. So I'm going to grab my other stamp, which is the All Together Happy Occasions. And we're going to stamp this onto Sugar Cube and emboss it with our gold embossing powder. Got a pretty large piece of paper here, and we'll just place that down. And I'm going to grab my powder tool.
That's what I said.
Pounce. Pounce it to get that powder to come out. If you've never used this, you can see just a nice light dusting of powder. It is skin safe, so if you have any need to put powder on your skin, you certainly can do that, but it does reduce the static and eliminate any of the oils that you might have on your fingers, even unintentionally. We all have oil in our skin, and so it transfers to the cardstock and can cause our embossing powder to stick to the paper where we don't want it to. So by applying that anti-static powder, we can reduce that. And I'm going to grab my Versamark ink next. Okay. I should have popped up on the screen. I forgot to do that, but everybody's talking about their graduation projects. My kids aren't graduating, but we always do teacher gifts at the end of the year. And I was pretty proud of my teacher gifts this year. So this year for teacher gifts, I bought a tall vase from Dollar Tree, and I glued number 2 pencils all around the outside of this circular vase. And then I put floral foam inside and did a real flower arrangement stuck inside the foam.
Woo!
And then I got these floral picks, and I put gift cards on them and stuck them in the arrangement for the teachers.
Oh, I love that.
I know, they deserve spoiling, so I hope they enjoyed that little thing. John brought it to them yesterday because he drops Henry off at school in the morning, and I was joking with him. I asked if he took credit for it, if he took credit for the project.
They said, "Did you make this?"
Right.
He's like, "Yes, I did."
Yes, I certainly did. No, I don't think they would have probably believed him, but they know he has a crafty wife, so that was really fun project to work on. All right, there we go. Beautiful. Now, if you do have any little spots that might have like an extra little bit of powder that didn't quite come off, I've got a little bit down here around my P that I think I'm going to try and just push. Sometimes I go, that was me blowing on it, and that seems to help. If I have a little spot that I just want to give a little huff to, that will usually get those last little bits of powder off for me. Okay, we are going to heat this now. I am going to grab my mini mitts because I'm going to hold on close to the imagery, and that's just going to keep my fingers from getting burned. All right, here we go. Still heating. All right, now it's starting to turn. Moving slowly across until I see it turn to that nice gold color. Beautiful gold sentiments. Now, I know we do have the foilet for this, so you could foil these in gold, but one of the things I love about having the stamp is the ability to use white embossing powder on colored cardstocks. I didn't do that in this case, but that is the main benefit for me of having a stamp, is having that option to have my sentiments on a colored cardstock with a white embossing powder. So there's my little plug for the rubber stamp. And now we're gonna grab that die and we can do all of our die cutting next. That finishes the stamping that we have for this project. So let's bring in the die cut machine and we're gonna be die cutting for a little while. I did some of it ahead of time, so grab a couple pieces of tape. With these all together sentiments, I always like to tack them down in at least 2, sometimes 3 spots. So we're going to start by lining up those alignment squares, shifting just ever so slightly to get the best alignment through that stamp. I can't see very well from this angle, so I feel like I keep shifting it just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now I have my topper, and we'll send that through. I was reading Joan's question. When you get dimples in your embossing powder, does that mean you got too close? I guess I might have to see a picture of what you mean by dimples. I don't think, do I have dimples in mine? I don't think I see anything I would consider a dimple. So maybe explain a little bit more what you mean by dimples. I think when you get too much heat on your embossing powder, it actually soaks into your cardstock, so the embossing powder doesn't sit on top of your cardstock anymore, so you don't feel that soft dimension or that kind of raised dimension anymore. Instead, it just feels like cardstock. So that's my experience with overheating or adding too much heat. I know sometimes when I'm embossing really large or thick letters or thick imagery, sometimes doing 2 coats of embossing powder will help you get a more smooth application. So if that's what you mean by dimpling, then maybe try after you heat it once, you can stamp again over the top, add with Versamark, and then add more embossing powder and emboss again. And that will give you a thicker application and maybe reduce some of the dimpling that you're referring to. Okay, so we have popped all of those out of the stamp. We have 5 different happy versions, and then we have several kind of phrases in banners that we can combine with the happy. I'm going to go ahead and die cut my rainbows now. So we haven't talked about this product yet. I'm using a die set. This was again from our Combo Club Supersize last year. It entered the collection kind of quietly at the beginning of this month, and it is now available for all to purchase. So I love that we have the 4 arc rainbow along with the backer die. So if you want to be able to pop up your rainbow, you can adhere it to the backer die easily and then pop it up onto your project. It also comes with these 3 different sizes of flowers. You get 2 each of the 3 sizes and the flower centers. I'm using the enamel dots on mine for the centers, but that's what these little circles are. So we're only going to use the arc die for the cutting today, and I'll start out with my Gumdrop color here. It's going to be easier if we can keep all of these arcs together in the size that they go. So I'm going to kind of pop them out at the top of my work surface up here. I don't know if you can see. No, I don't think you can see that. But I will show you in just a second when I'm done with all of the die cutting. So just like that, we're going to kind of arrange them at the top. Next one. Oh, everybody's talking about bus driver doing gifts for the custodian and other staff. We did do gifts for the office staff as well. Henry spends a lot of time in the office. Not because he's naughty, but because that's where his favorite people are.
Yes.
And so
everyone loves him, so they just take him around. Yep. Say hi to everyone.
He sits in the nurse's office when he's not sick. He just likes the nurse. And so oh, yes. All right. Pop out these. Okay.
Look at you cruising on through.
I know. We're going to have so many cards. 4 of them.
Whoop, whoop.
Plus the 3 that I have left from my other batch. I love that. We've got some of you working on Father's Day cards.
Ooh, yeah, we need to do that.
I know, we got to do that. Our dad's birthday is on Father's Day this year. So we got to make it doubly special for him. All right, so next up I have my Fanfare cutting plate. I think this might be almost the last of our die cutting. We have to do our flowers too. I have the Fanfare cutting plate, and I have my pieces already cut down. So we're just gonna pop that on the back. If you feel more comfortable, you can add a little piece of tape to the back just to make sure that that piece doesn't shift on there while you're die cutting it. Or I know some of you like to change your sandwich so it's facing up, then you can see the piece as it's going through. Okay, that's some good tips people are giving. They are saying the dimpling happens for them when they don't heat it enough. So going back to that embossing powder discussion. Oh, Renee's dad's birthday's on Father's Day this year too.
Oh!
My birthday is always right around Father's Day, and so I feel like my dad always kind of got the short end of the stick when it came to his birthday and Father's Day. It was always probably my birthday celebration.
Well, you have a lot in June. You have your birthday, you have your anniversary.
Anniversary's coming up.
You gotta get on that card too.
I should.
Woo!
I need that crafty projects list, to-do list, that little post-it note that we have. Do we have those on the website yet?
Let me check.
Okay. I know we've been talking about it for a while, and now that I've mentioned it, everybody's going to want to know.
Not yet. Oh, yes, we do.
We do?
Crafty to-dos, sticky notes.
Crafty to-dos sticky notes. Okay, you guys, check them out. They were also available at Stamp Joy Virtual this year, and we did a fun little calendar project with them, but I love little post-it notes.
Me too.
Have way too many of them around my desk, but I find that if I have a lot of them, I actually use them. If I only have a little, then I think, oh, I bet I shouldn't use those because I don't have very many. So I am kind of a post-it note collector, but then I also do use them. Stickers are another story. I collect those, and I don't always like to use them.
I know. I'm always like, do I want to use this? Is this worth it?
Yes.
Like if I put it on this water bottle, is it gonna fall off because I love it so much? I don't want to waste it.
All right. I almost forgot one last thing to die cut. I have some of these flowers that we're gonna do, and I used the medium, the small and the medium. I didn't use the large ones. So each of my cards needs 2 flowers. And I'm probably just going to cut a couple sets of these because the rest of these projects really, or the rest of my project is really a lot of assembly. So I'll walk you through assembling one of these so we can talk through what I popped up and what is just glued straight down. And then I can finish the rest later. I know gluing probably isn't the most exciting thing to watch someone else do. Oh, Anna says it's her and her husband's 43rd anniversary in a few weeks. What's your anniversary, Anna? Do we have the same one? Ours is June 5th. And we're a ways behind you in the number of years. We're at 21 years this year.
Whoop, whoop.
Which also feels kind of crazy to say because, yeah.
Time is flying.
It flies. I feel like, weren't we just married not that long ago?
You guys were but babies.
All right, so let's take a look at these pieces here that we have for our rainbow. And when you keep them in size order, that's going to make it a little bit easier to arrange them into kind of the colorways that you want. So we need the biggest one from each set we'll start with. And then we'll just start pairing up the next smaller size here.
June is apparently the time to get married.
It is a popular month.
Saying, yes.
Everybody's got
June
the same
anniversaries.
Let's do this one over here. Just kind of arranging, making sure that I don't have any 2 colors that are touching each other. And then I don't end up with 2 of the same color at the end. There we go. So you can kind of see a pattern. I used the peach and the guava together on the top 2 rings for 2 of the rainbows, and then on the bottom 2 rings for the other 2. And then I flipped that and did the opposite with the yellow and the teal. So now that we have all 4 of those, we can kind of push those back up and we'll go ahead and assemble one of the cards. So you guys get that. Okay, so we have these pieces that we did with the Fanfare piercing plate. I have my card base. Another tip I have for mass producing is to use pre-cut and pre-scored card bases. We offer them on our website, and they're there for a reason because they make it simple and fast. I think if a mass production project takes me time to get out, especially if you're doing a lot of cards at once, if I have to get out my cutter and cut them and score them and fold them, this is really easy. It's cut for you, it's scored for you. Just fold in half on the score line and use a bone folder. So
love that.
I love that. All right, so we are going to go ahead with the 4 panels. So I cut those panels out of the coordinating colors that we used, and we're going to pick one of them. Let's just go with Guava. And then this is designed to layer on top. I used A2 Layer Stacklets to cut both of these out. Glue those together. Okay. And then if you want to, you can kind of pair them up similarly. So with the darker Guava outer edge, you can use the lighter peach largest ring, which means that your peaches and cream layer would go with the Guava outer ring. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm using kind of the same idea that I used up here to pair them up. So this one would go with a pineapple backer. This one would go with a gumdrop backer. This one goes with the peaches backer, and then this peaches largest goes with the Guava backer. Lots of sense, right?
Love it. Now that you explained it, it makes total
sense. So we'll go ahead and adhere this down. I like to kind of place things before just to make sure that I've allocated enough space for all of the elements. So if we just kind of loosely push those together, I've determined that I want my largest rung, or I keep calling it a rung, an arc of the rainbow, maybe about an inch down from the top. Not an exact science on that measurement, but... And we'll adhere the largest one first. And that's going to give us our pattern for adhering all the rest of them. Centered left to right, about an inch down from the top. And then the rest of the arcs, because they're all cut with the same die, are just going to fit perfectly inside. Just like that. So I know some people love mass producing. If you love mass producing, what's your favorite part of it? Do you like to do all the die cutting? Do you like to do all the stamping? Do you like to do all the adhering? On the opposite end of that, if you don't like mass producing, what's your least favorite part of it?
I love mass producing because I love having all the cards. You know, I sit down and I write one card, and then I write the next one. So I can just get all of my cards out. And especially like this, they can be for so many different occasions. Like you have a happy hello, and you have a happy birthday, and
yes,
you know.
I know a lot of people too who leave the sentiments off of the cards as they're mass producing them, because then when they need them, they have the option to choose their kind of what they need in the moment and not be stuck to, oh, I have happy birthday on this one. So I make enough cards that I feel like I just put sentiments on everything, and then I have enough to choose from typically. So I'm putting regular foam tape on the back of these flowers that I cut from Sugar Cube cardstock. Yes, Shelly, I love that part too. She said her favorite part is looking at all of the piles of die cut and stamped pieces that are ready for assembly. I think those are some of my favorite photos on social media when they pop up. I love seeing piles of pieces and sort of imagining how the card is going to come together. It's sort of, I don't know. I also like going through the grocery store line, imagining what the person in front of me is going to make with their ingredients that they bought. So it's kind of like that process. All right, so on the flowers, we're going to do big on the outside and little on the inside. And they're just going to kind of cover up the bottom of that rainbow. Okay, then we get to do a little bit of something that brings me joy, is using things up. So we're going to go back to these gold matte enamel dots, and we're going to use them up with these cards. So I am going to use the biggest enamel dots. Actually, this is how I like to do mine. Kind of place it on the tip of my die pick and then put it right down where I want it. Seems to work better for me than trying to tweezer it off of there. And then center it on and just stick it in place there. First, you got to get under it. All right, cute, cute. Let's do, what do I want to do? Let's do happy birthday. Always need birthday cards. We just talked about, I don't think this is going to work for Dad's birthday.
I don't know. He's a pretty happy person, right?
Yes,
shiny.
He is.
Always whistling. Always whistling.
I'm sure he would be fine with the bright, happy colors.
He'd probably say, "Oh, Taylor, I love it."
I know. I used to make little projects for him when I was a kid, and he still has them today, which I think is so great. Sometimes he'll pull them out and say, "Remember these?"
Oh.
I know. My dad sold insurance for many, many years, and I used to make these little boxes that he could store his insurance cards in, and they'd say, like, "My dad sells insurance. You should call him." And, like, I'd list out his phone number. Oh, goodness.
The cute things you do when you're little.
I know. All right, there it is. Happy birthday. Now for a little bit of added dimension, because when I make simple cards, this is a simple card, you need to find, well, first of all, it needs to be adhered pretty perfectly if it's simple, because you're going to notice if your sentiment's crooked or your panel's crooked or those kind of things, because there's not as much to take in. But also the little details like popping these up and leaving this down, putting the piercing in the background. Those are the little things that make a simple card stand out. So I am going to put some more foam tape. This time, this is our thin foam, and I'm just going to pop 4 of these down the back of my card. It's going to give it just that little bit of extra dimension off of the white card base. I intentionally brought this in and made it a thicker layer so that you see more white of the card base. I just kind of like that look sometimes, especially when the card is simple. And it brings your eye into the middle of the card to the focal piece. Who's talking about their dad was a whistler too? Were you saying our dad is a whistler?
Our dad is a whistler. He's
is.
a happy whistler. You can always tell where he is.
You can. He comes to see us in the office and he whistles his way up the stairs. Both of our offices are upstairs in our building, and so we always know when he's coming because I can hear him whistling up the stairs.
Dad!
That's gotta be Dad. All right, there we go. Happy birthday on this one. We'll bring in the other 4 just so that you can be reminded of the whole theme of mass production with your projects. So hopefully you learned something new, got some new tips and tricks, or just think about your products in mass production ways, and you will have a whole slew of cards really quickly and easily. So let me come back to you and give you a few reminders as we say farewell today. So again, we've got our Memorial Day sentiment sale happening all the way through next week. And of course, those are while supplies last, no rain checks. So shop early for the best selection on those products. And then get yourself re-enrolled in the Combo Club, or enrolled if you didn't enroll for the first 3 months. Now's your chance to do that through Thursday at 9 a.m. So time is coming to a close to get yourself into the second half of our Combo Club. And let's see, Susan will be back on Thursday this week, I believe, Whitney? Or no, Heather. Heather. I always lose track of who it is. But Heather will be here on Thursday, so mark your calendar, 10 a.m. Central Time. And I will see you guys, well, if you're tuning into our fan page, I will see you on Saturday for our product reveal video for our last release of the month, which is the kit. Right, Whitney?
Woo!
Next week is kit week.
I'm so excited!
I know, I'm really excited. We are super excited about this one. So I'll see you on Saturday for that if you tune in there. Otherwise, make sure you come back next week on Tuesday, right here. Same time, same place. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.